spot on the Chesterfield Fire and EMS Scuba Rescue Team in September 2017. In that role, she was assigned to the Clover Hill Fire Station, one of two bases of operation for our dive team. In September 2020, she was selected to become a member of the elite Virginia Helicopter Aquatics Rescue Team, or VA HART, a joint initiative between the Virginia Army Air National Guard and Chesterfield Fire and EMS. She was the first and only woman to serve on our dive team, and only one of two women assigned to the HART team, the other being a National Guard pilot. This is a testament to her determination and perseverance. In recent years, she actively prepared for greater leadership responsibilities, completing a long-term acting lieutenant assignment at the Bon Air Fire Station, and was a candidate for promotion to the rank of lieutenant. For the past 7 years, she served on the department's firefighter recruit interview panel, and during that time played an important role in the hiring decisions for many new firefighters. During her tenure with the department, she was honored with numerous citations and awards. In 2013, Alicia and her co-workers were recognized on several occasions for quick and decisive actions at the scenes of serious motor vehicle crashes. In 2018 and 2020, Alicia was recognized for performing advanced medical care on patients that saved their lives. In October 2018, she and two other dive team members rescued a victim trapped on the roof of their car in rising, swiftly moving floodwaters. They each were recognized with a Bronze Valor Award for their efforts by the Retail Merchants Association. In addition to her commitment to duty and service with our department, Alicia gave back to the community in so many ways in her off-duty time. She was a licensed dog trainer and certified search and rescue dog handler. She and her dog Chloe would travel far and wide to help in the search for young children or the elderly who were lost. She was the Southeast Region Event Coordinator for She Jumps, a nonprofit that aims to increase the participation of women and girls in a variety of outdoor activities. She was an auxiliary instructor for the U.S. Naval Sea Cadets program and supported Race Across America and Race Across the West as a driver and paramedic. She worked as a whitewater raft guide for RVA Paddle Sports and Riverside Outfitters, and served as an instructor in search and rescue with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. Alicia was also an active swiftwater rescue instructor, teaching multiple classes in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia as a valued instructor with Rescue 3 International, a global organization that provides technical rescue training. That brings us to Saturday, June 25th. As with any tragic event, initial information and timelines are subject to change as the picture becomes clearer over time and facts are checked and verified. Getting a complete picture in this case has been particularly challenging for a few reasons. First, the incident occurred over 400 miles away and in another state. Second, Alicia was off-duty and working as an instructor for a private contractor. Chesterfield Fire and EMS did not sponsor the training nor assign Alicia to attend such training as a member of our department. And third, Chesterfield Fire and EMS has no authority to investigate the incident, whereas such authority for investigating or otherwise reviewing the circumstances in this incident rests with the Macon County, North Carolina Medical Examiner, the North Carolina Department of Labor, Occupational Safety and Health Division, and the U.S. Forest Service. Over the past few days, we've remained in close contact with Mr. Tim Rogers, who's the Regional Director for Rescue 3 International. Tim is a retired battalion chief with the Charlotte Fire Department with over 35 years of service, and is one of the most highly respected resources in the fire service on swiftwater rescue training. He was also instrumental in the stand-up of North Carolina's HART program and worked extensively with our team as the Virginia HART team was formed. Here's what we know at this point. On Thursday, June 23rd, Alicia traveled to Oconee County, South Carolina to assist in the delivery of a 3-day swiftwater rescue technician course for their county's rescue team comprised of individuals from various fire and EMS agencies in the area. There were 8 students enrolled in the certification course, and an additional person was attending to serve as the class photographer. Alicia assisted the lead instructor in delivering the second half of the classroom portion of the training on the evening of June 24th in Oconee County. Days 2 and 3 of the training were planned for the Nantahala River in western North Carolina and the Chattooga River in South Carolina. Chattooga is spelled C-H-A-T-O-O-G-A. On Saturday morning, June 25th, Alicia and the lead instructor traveled along with the students to the training site on the Nantahala River in Macon County, North Carolina, approximately 20 miles outside Bryson City. The training site was near a commercial boat launch and was an area very familiar to both Alicia and the lead instructor, as they had taught numerous classes there before. At approximately 8:30 a.m., the students were assembled for a safety briefing and spent the rest of the morning practicing on shore with knots, rope rigging, and use of throw bags. The afternoon session that began after lunch was spent in the water and devoted to learning and practicing various skills and techniques to safely work in and rescue individuals from turbulent water. As these training evolutions were underway, Alicia instructed, demonstrated techniques, and coached students as they learned and refined the various skills necessary to be safe and successful in swiftwater operations. At approximately 2:30 p.m., Alicia was demonstrating to the students a method for entering the main channel and how to swim back towards an eddy to effect a rescue. This was a skill that she had performed many times in the past. After taking approximately 5 freestyle strokes, the lead instructor and the students noticed that Alicia had suddenly stopped swimming and, for reasons still unknown, was face down in the water and unresponsive. The lead instructor immediately issued a series of whistle blasts and initiated a chase swim in an attempt to reach Alicia. The students began moving on land in the direction of travel for both Alicia and the lead instructor. A 911 call was placed by someone on scene, and an emergency response unit from Macon County were dispatched at approximately 2:36 p.m. As Alicia continued downstream, a commercial raft guide and an inflatable kayak launched into the river and paddled toward Alicia. The lead instructor was also able to commandeer an inflatable kayak, and together they reached Alicia as she entered calmer water, approximately a half-mile downstream from where she was first observed as being unresponsive. The guide and lead instructor removed Alicia from the water and placed her into one of the inflatable kayaks and began resuscitation efforts as they moved her to shore. The students retrieved available equipment on scene, including an AED, and joined in the resuscitation efforts at approximately 2:40 p.m. At approximately 2:51 p.m., Alicia was moved to an accessible paved area beside the river to better facilitate patient care. First responders from Nantahala Fire and Rescue and Macon County EMS arrived on scene at approximately 3 p.m. Macon County EMS initiated transport to Swain Community Hospital in Bryson City at approximately 3:08 p.m. and provided advanced life support care during the 22-mile trip to the hospital. The ambulance arrived at Swain Community Hospital at approximately 3:30 p.m. and resuscitation efforts continued until they were ceased at approximately 3:46 p.m. There's several takeaways that I'd like to leave you with as we seek to learn more about what happened to Alicia. There was nothing unusual or remarkable about the weather or river conditions on Saturday, and both Alicia and the lead instructor were very familiar with this area, having taught multiple classes there in the past. Alicia was an experienced swiftwater practitioner and instructor and was working with an instructor who had many more decades of experience. Alicia was conducting the training in accordance with recognized safety practices and entered the water wearing full protective equipment, including a robust personal flotation device. There was no indication prior to the event that Alicia was not feeling well or experiencing pain or difficulty prior to becoming unresponsive. Whatever occurred happened suddenly and without warning. We are hopeful that the medical examiner may be able to determine a cause of death and any precipitating factors that may help explain what happened. In closing, while Alicia will always be remembered for her devotion to duty and unparalleled service to others, her legacy will be the inspiration she provided to countless young women considering careers in the fire service or the pursuit of causes bigger than themselves. Details on funeral arrangements will be released as soon as they are finalized and available. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Chief, what have the past 4 days been like, not just for you, but for the people that you've had to help get through and just process this whole situation?
You know, our department is a big family, and particularly in our specialty teams where they go through extensive training, they work closely together in harm's way. That's a very tight-knit community, and so it's been devastating to those members. At the same time, those members are working very hard to meet the needs of the family, to support that family. They also know that they have to keep forging ahead, just as Alicia would do. And calls keep coming in every day. Each day this department will answer between 130 and 150 emergencies, and some of those will be very tragic. Nonetheless, our members know that they have to continue to forge ahead and provide those critical services to the community. just as Alicia would do.
And you ran through some of her accomplishments, but I feel like usually when we cover something like this, they don't fully capture a picture of a person, even the great things they do. Can you share with us the kind of person that she was, that you knew and that members of this department knew, and just what she was like?
She was a very warm person. She, again, was very devoted to her career and to her community. I knew that she was involved in a lot of activities off duty, but until I started doing more research and pulling together some of her background and information, I really didn't have a good feel for how involved she was off duty. Talking with her family, she was each and every day. She was looking for ways to serve others, and in so many different ways. And so she was just a wonderful person. She was so driven. She had accomplished so much in just 11 short years with our department, and was on a pathway to be a leader in this organization. And so her loss is a great one for this organization.
As best you can, if you don't mind sharing, whatever conversation you've had with the family. I mean, I can't imagine how they're doing. How are they doing?
I think they're doing as well as can be expected. It's obviously a tragedy for the family. We have expressed our sorrow and continue to provide support to them in any way that we can. And in the coming days, that will continue. They will always be a member of our family here, an extended family of our department. And there's so many people that have such close relationships to Alicia and her family that relationship will continue for many years to come.
And you touched a little bit at the end there of your remarks on her legacy as someone that wanted to help someone and others. What do you think and what do you hope the community understands about what that legacy, how that was formed, and then also how it's going to live on?
Again, I think she was driven from a very early age before she even joined our organization, and that passion just continued as she basically had achieved different levels of training and accomplishments here in the department. She was, again, a leader in and of herself, and set a great example for her coworkers, and, as I said before, for so many young women who are aspiring to join the fire service or do something greater than themselves. And she will be sorely missed.
I ask a lot of questions.
A question that I have, I know that she had a very close bond with her dog Chloe. I wasn't sure if Chloe was also part of the Chesterfield Fire family and how you guys expect to, keep her memory alive and with the dog, so I wasn't sure.
Well, we haven't talked about that. She was not directly affiliated with the department in the search dog role. I believe she did a lot of work, obviously, with the Search and Rescue Association, and was tied in quite often with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management in their search and rescue programs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know that it's been difficult trying to get information
Yes.
from across state lines, of course. But you mentioned that around 2:50 is when she was brought out of the water. When initially yesterday it was sent out from the Chesterfield Fire Department that she went into the water at 3 o'clock. So is this
Sure.
the official timeline that we had at this time?
I would not refer to any of this as official timelines, other than this is the information that we know at this time. And again, things can change based on more information becoming available, as well as reports that are ultimately received from the authorities having jurisdiction in North Carolina. The timeline of 3 p.m. Was received by our department early on when we received notification of the event, and of course that could have been based on someone's estimate at the time. And again, the calls that we received were from North Carolina to our emergency communications center and then to our shift commander. So the more people that touch information, obviously it's difficult sometimes to verify exact times. But that was the information that we had at that time when we put our press release out yesterday. Since then, I've gotten more detailed information that I'm sharing with you today.
You mentioned that she was the first woman, only woman to serve the dive team. How important was that representation to your department and to the team as well?
I think we have approximately 40 women in the department, and I think it's very important, and it serves as an example to all of our members that you can achieve greatness if you work at it and you persevere, and she did that. And again, I think she's just a glowing example to so many young women out there that might be pursuing a career in the fire service. And that's, the dive team is just one of many aspects of our department that our members can get involved in. And certainly we want to see more representation of women in many of these specialty teams as well.
And just to follow up that too, you mentioned too that she was on her path to being a great leader within this department. Can you touch on some of those qualities that you kind of identified early on and said this is the person that we want to kind of raise up?
Absolutely. We want somebody who's driven, who has a vision, who's goal-oriented, who sets a vision for where they want to be and goes after their visions and their dreams. Somebody who's reliable, who's dependable, who has not only good technical skills but also good people skills. That's extremely important in a leadership position. Someone's integrity is above all, and willing to do the extra work to get the job done. And so she had all of those traits and was certainly on the path to becoming a formal leader in this organization. Even though she was not a promoted leader, if you will, I know that in many ways that she was an informal leader in her station assignment, and certainly in the role that she played on our interview panel. I mean, she was, she set the bar for a lot of our new recruits coming through the door, and spent a lot of time with those recruits, interviewed them, along with the rest of the panel members, and had key input into the hiring decisions for, I would say, probably over 100 firefighters over the last 5 or 6 years. So she's touched a lot of people and had a lot of influence on a lot of new firefighters coming into this organization.
Given that's the fact, what's it going to be like in the coming weeks for those folks, the folks that knew Alicia well and that just loved her? I know it's difficult, but like, what do you guys want them to know about how the leadership is going to help them out through this time?
We're certainly there to support the family, to support our members who are hurting, and we know that it's going to take a very long time. They'll always miss Alicia. They'll always be a missing part of their shift. But we're going to work very hard to recognize her service and always remember her going forward.
I know it was probably a shock getting this news, especially with all of her experience, and there's so many unanswered questions. How tough is that on you guys as an organization, kind of being able to know?
Again, it's extremely tough because, as I said before, we're a tight-knit community. It's like a second family, if you will. And we work together, we train together. Our firefighters go in harm's way, have to depend on one another. And so those bonds at that fire station level are extremely close, and they're very strong. And so when a loss like this occurs, it's very difficult on the response crews. But I would say that our members are very resilient, and they know that the next call is coming in a matter of minutes, and so they have to continue to provide that service. They can't just give up and sit back. They have to continue to perform the good work that Alicia did over those years. So.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Chief. We appreciate it, and we
Absolutely.
know it's a difficult time. And
It is.
having all these silly cameras in here probably didn't make it any easier. So.
Well, we know it's important, and
Yeah.
one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did is get that message out about all the good things that she did over the years, and how much she meant to the members of this organization.
Yeah.
And it's difficult just pulling all that information together, going through our personnel files, talking to family and friends, making sure that we don't miss anything, and then again, being so far away from where the incident occurred.